Hi, everybody. Ian Bremmer here. A lot of people asking me about an AI arms race between the United States and China, and it's certainly not playing out the way you might think from the headlines. It is certainly true that there are two countries in the world that are dominating AI in terms of capabilities, in terms of spend, in terms of companies that matter. It's the United States and China. And these are getting enormous amounts of resources. They are seen as incredibly important for the future of economic success and growth and productivity in both countries. No one else is remotely close. So in that regard, absolutely. But there are a couple ways that really doesn't play out, and I think it's worth talking about. And first of all, what had been a bipartisan policy, one of the very few in the United States, which is that the Chinese need to be contained in areas of dual use technology of security and strategic importance. Democrats and Republicans, first Trump term, Biden term as well, really is changing now, changing particularly with the decision to give H20 or sell H20 chips, AI chips that are essential to being able to actually roll out these capabilities from NVIDIA to China. This was very effective lobbying by Jensen Huang, who runs NVIDIA, towards Trump directly. In return, the American government is getting a significant piece of those revenues. But they get to keep selling it. Now, this, of course, is exactly to NVIDIA's corporate plan and good for their shareholders. And the argument being made is, well, the Chinese are going to have it anyway, and so you shouldn't be going the export control route. Instead, you should be trying to ensure that American chips are dominating all the Chinese AI capabilities, because that's going to give you more influence. When the United States is changing policy in such a key way from one term to the next, clearly a country that is maintaining the same strategy is more likely to be successful. That's one component of the fact that this isn't feeling like a Cold War. So too is the fact that Trump is really prioritizing TikTok and the ability to get a deal so that the Americans have control over TikTok, which is not strategically essential for the future of Chinese national security at all. But it's really important if you want to own the information space in the United States. It's really important if you want to have impact on kids that are going to vote. And in that regard, it matters a lot for Trump in a way that Taiwan, for example, matters a lot to Xi Jinping. And that's the kind of deal that one could see getting done, where the Americans back away from saying that they're ambiguous on Taiwanese independence, instead saying they oppose it. And in return, the Chinese allow for TikTok to become the algorithms controlled by people politically aligned with President Trump. That's certainly what Trump would like to see happen. But there's something else that's also very important, and it kind of is related to this, which is that for the Chinese, the consumer model is not where they're trying to win in AI. It's not about more and more advanced LLMs that people can engage with. DeepSeek, which is quite advanced and surprised a lot of the Americans in the space, was rolled out open source, very differently from the most advanced models, most of them in the United States. And the Chinese don't see that as how they're going to make all their money with AI. It's certainly not the most important thing for them from a strategic perspective long term. They want to use AI to power advances in core industrial sectors, biotechnology, robotics, space, advanced manufacturing. They want more efficiency. They want better energy use. They want to use AI for that. Now, the United States is also doing that, to be sure, but most of the money in AI in the United States are going towards developing bigger and bigger core, these foundational LLM models, and that are being used principally by people, by individuals who are then, essentially training those AI models that help you create the next AI model, which then allows you to get an even bigger valuation and make even more of a capital raise. And this has been OpenAI's model, and they keep going for it. And eventually they think they get towards artificial general intelligence, whatever that means, whenever that comes. But for now, it is the core technology where China is looking to use the core technology and deploy it in the key sectors. It reminds me in this way a lot of like the railroads, right? Where, yeah, you made money on the railroads, but the real advances were the people that took advantage of the railroads. It wasn't the railroads itself. But there's one big difference, which is that the railroads fundamentally didn't damage society. And the core LLMs are damaging to society, at least in the way they're presently being deployed, not in their principal uses, but in secondary uses that turn out to be really important. And we're seeing that because these LLMs are maximizing for engagement, and the engagement is with people, that we are actually running real-time experiments on society in ways that we would never do in the physical world, right? We would never do that with a vaccine. We'd want to test that vaccine first and make sure that there weren't negative effects. We'd never do that with a genetically modified food. We'd never do that with anything affecting the physical body. And yet we're doing it with psychology. We're doing it with bots that have principal uses, consumer uses for a lot of people that engage with them as therapists. So obviously, they have psychological impact. The thing that has fascinated me most, so Elon Musk came out, and over the last week, he's been really pushing for canceling Netflix, and he wants to cancel Netflix because Netflix has some shows that promote transgender relationships, and these are kids' shows, as normal, as healthy. Or homosexual relationships. There was one anime show, I guess, that had two girls kissing. And Elon wants to cancel that. And I mean, clearly what Elon is saying is that, even a few shows by Netflix, if exposed to young kids, could affect their psychology. Well, I mean, if that's true, then obviously AI bots, which have vastly more ability to interact with those children, should be banned for those children. Now, he's not making that argument because he doesn't own Netflix and he does own an AI company. So there's hypocrisy there, but that doesn't need to affect us. We're looking at what it's doing to society. And here, the Chinese, I think, understand that this is a dangerous area that doesn't create value for them and is not worth the risk. And the Americans don't, because the business model has nothing to do with the well-being of the citizens. And that's something I think we have to be very, very careful for. We need far better regulations around. We need far more safety around for society and for our mental and emotional well-being. That's it for me. I'll talk to you real soon.